probably wouldn't have made that mistake.
Three
Uh,
apostrophes.
yeah. I'm going for the record. I want to have apostrophes before and after my name, and also between each letter. Uh,
Yeah. Best joke is having like an obscenely long amount of words in the rest of the name. So if you have like 7 names, that's where it's at.
yeah. Did you know that like that's actually a thing with halflings in like vanilla D&D is
Huh.
there's lore about halflings in an older book that says that they take their own nicknames as they do stuff and just as they decide what they like. So they often have like 10 or 11 chosen names. Actually, I think it might be gnomes, not halflings. But yeah, so gnomes have these crazy long names, but then they never do it. We played with a character, or I ran game for one of my good friends, and they had like 6 names. It was great. Uh, anyway, that's just me rambling. So we're actually in a part 2 tonight. We're in the second half of what we were up to last week. And I'm going to shoot it to Celius. Celius, why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened last week?
Yeah, so we were minding our own business, just going through the northern lands of Auria, in the middle of the snow, and we stumbled upon what looked to be almost a murder scene. And we ended up helping out a jackal, saved him from a dragon who seemed to be out for his blood. As part of the thanks and for our valiant volunteering to help him further, he brought us all the way back to a jackal city. Consult my notes. Oh, it's on a different piece of paper. I forgot the name of the jackal city. I'll have to get up and grab my piece of paper.
The Jackal City is called Najmat.
Najmat. At which point we told him it was a great honor for our characters, for any character who's not a jackal, way up in the sky. And we eventually learned a little bit about the true nature of why he was being attacked. Learned a bit about his family life. He has a curse, and we have volunteered to go break that curse for him.
Yes. So I think when we left off last week, you were about to rest and then leave in the morning, if I remember correctly.
We had
So
14
right
days.
now, yeah. You have a pretty strict time limit because it turns out that Cole, who is the jackal who was in danger, you kind of like basically shoot away a white dragon. Cole is facing punishment for taking a deal when his son was born, and putting the city that he's from in danger because now the dragon that he made the deal with is coming to collect on the debt, and dragons are one of the few types of creatures that could possibly find their city and come in uninvited, and if that happened, that would be really bad. So your characters have agreed to help, and we're going to pick up almost directly where we left off. So you are still in the city of Najmat, and so what happened was Cole and his family have agreed to let you stay for the night, and have sort of you're having like a living room sleepover with Cole's family. Um, they put out the whole spread, and you are lying just in their common room because their house is fairly small, and it's full of finery and it's very well made. Cole is a sculptor, so there's as I mentioned last week, there are uh, all of these sculptures along the top of the wall of wildlife from the region that you're in, Auria. But as night falls, everyone kind of goes to sleep. Jackals keep a very regular schedule in all things, and part of that regular schedule is that the entire city more or less closes at what you would consider to be an early bedtime, something like 10 p.m. So, does anyone have any questions at this point?
Where did the wisest go?
So the wisest left and told you. So to catch up, the wisest, who is a little bit like the mayor of Najmat, sort of the person who the city trusts overall to make decisions. The wisest of Najmat, Maswen, excused herself before the end of last session and told you that she was going to be back in the morning with things available after you made your, strategy sort of more concrete for what you were going to do, because last week you didn't know very well what you were going to do. You know a general area of where Salrua, who is the white dragon, Salrua's lair might be somewhere in the vicinity of I can't remember who it was, but one of you had heard of the city that she is from. So you know the general region of where her lair might be. But other than that, you didn't have much of a plan, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Tam casts legend lore to learn about it.
Right. And then I think
I made a history roll by Eidetic
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah, the name, there was a name, and then you sort of put it together. So it was a combination of really powerful magic and the fact that bears remember everything that happens to them. All right. So that evening, I would like the four of you to roll me perception checks at a disadvantage because you are asleep.
Disadvantage. Yeah, no.
I rolled an 18 and a 19, so that's 30.
Damn.
There's a 5 on the die, so I'm just gonna be quiet now.
I got a 3 and a 4. Tam is very asleep.
All right.
14 for Killian.
So we got both sides of the it didn't really matter disadvantage roll, which is like I wouldn't have made it anyway. And like, okay, so 30. With a 30, Jack is roused from sleep. The four of you are sleeping on a pile of cushions that you've sort of laid out like a bed. And in the middle of the night, Jack is roused from sleep by someone moving through the room. He sort of like, is groggy for a moment, but the roll is so good that like you're alert almost immediately. And you don't move such that the shape or the person in the dark sees you, but they are creeping along the wall toward the front door. What do you do?
So I have a theory as to who this is. So can Jack do a little sneaky peek and see? It's just check to see who it is, or
Jack cannot see. So the common room is fairly large, probably 40 by 40 feet, and with a tall ceiling. So there are no sources of light in here, and whoever it is, this figure has a cloak over like a hood over their head, and is wearing a cloak. But that's the most you can pick out, just because there's not enough light to see.
yeah, what the heck? You'd probably just go with it. So just as he's just lying there, probably just like staring directly up, it's just like, it's pretty late time to leave, honestly.
Okay,
Probably
so
better if we wait until morning.
the three of you wake up. You've been on like some pretty dangerous adventures together, and if someone is speaking during rest time, it's usually a sign of danger. So the three of you are awake immediately when you hear Jack's voice. The shape in the dark stops when he hears Jack speak, and he seems to be deciding what he wants to do. He hasn't turned around, but he's just frozen, as if processing the potential consequences of what might happen if he ran away or turned around.
So Killian has just awoken and
Yes.
not quite aware of the situation. gets up on his elbows, turns to Jack, and asks, "What have you found? What are you seeing?"
I am under the sneaking suspicion, sneaking suspicion that Junior is going to go off and deal with things himself.
Wait, what? No, he can't.
So
It's too dangerous.
when he knows that the jig is up and like he sort of like there's no bluffing to be done, he does take his hood down, and it's Chenzira. It's Cole's son, who yesterday looked pretty frustrated that his father was facing punishment for altering the circumstances of his own birth. He turns around. I have to leave.
Where would you go?
What?
I will look for a way to make this right. While the debt is not mine, and I am not directly responsible, I feel as though I am its inheritor.
Mate, no need to be such a prima donna. We're going out in the morning anyway. Just come with us. You'll die. There'll probably significantly less chance of dying if you do.
Cole's gonna kill us if we let him come with us.
Dragon's gonna kill him if we don't.
Okay, I'm generally a fan of, accepting the consequences of your own actions, but this is you need to think long term here. If we don't manage to take this out, it's going to be your job to make things right. We're here to buy you time, and if you come with us now, you're going to be the sideshow. But if we don't make it, you're the main event, kid.
If you fail and come to harm while I sit idle here, I will know that it is possible that I could have changed events. Besides, isn't it wiser to combine forces against a great threat?
If we
If
were wise
Sauron
people,
knows-
we wouldn't be going after a dragon.
Well,
He's not
no,
laughing. I'm not.
That's what we need to do. But if Saura knows who you are when we show up, and she probably will, she'll target you before the rest of us, and we'll have to spend all of our time protecting you.
Make a persuasion check.
I think her background feature helps her. Well, I guess this is not a kid. This is an adult jackal. It's not really.
Well,
a
we'll
kid.
call this a kid. If you
Okay.
live to be like sideways 8 years old, 18's a kid. I know a few 18-year-olds, and I would comfortably call them kids.
Oh, that was a really good roll. That was 19 on the dice. 27.
27. Okay.
Ooh,
So
teaches the children.
Chenzira processes this. He stands in the dark, sort of caught him on his way out the door. He has his bag at his side and his cloak on, but now his conviction is you've broken his conviction with a good point. And he eventually his eyes come up from the floor and he looks at the four of you. Perhaps there's something I can give you that may help. And he unclasps the cloak from around his shoulders and takes it off. Chenzira is taller than any of you, even at 18 years old. He is well over 7 feet, taller even than his parents. But he lays the cloak gingerly into across his arms and then holds it out to you. This is a this is an important piece of clothing in my family, and I would, if I can't come with you, I would at least have you wear it. It was a birth gift from my uncle, and I hope that one of you can find some use for it and wear it well.
Tam will reach out, since she was the one who convinced him. She will reach out and take it and sort of bow her head and say, "You honor us, thank you. We don't want this to fail, of course, but if things do go awry, then there has to be somebody here to protect this family."
I understand.
Yep.
I
What
will-
I'm. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to do. If we don't make it, you're going to need to play for. You're going to need to play for time. You're going to need to get strong, and then you are going to need to announce to the world in the loudest, most ostentatious way possible that you are going for a grudge match. Got this.
Or you
I
keep your
understand.
head low and just don't say anything, you know, live an entire life of secrecy and make sure no one ever knows who you are. That also typically works.
Absolutely not. Glory is eternal.
Well, if there's one thing we understand, Genzira says, it's living lives of secrecy. So, if I did decide to do that, frustrating as though it may be, I would have time to get strong. And I know that time would be because of you. But I hope that you're successful nevertheless. I will leave anyway, and I will go to an important place for us, and I will say prayers for you. Goodbye. And he picks up his bag and he walks to the door. Before he leaves, he turns around again and says, "Good luck." And then he leaves.
Thank you.
So, Fat Luke.
If we die, name your firstborn children after us.
All
So,
of us.
all right.
Hyphens.
The cloak.
all of us, hyphens and apostrophes all over.
How many names can we put in a single name? Answer. All of them.
As many as you want. It's just how many names will people say to refer to you?
Most
so this
internet
cloak.
forms only allow up to 18 characters.
This cloak is the Cloak of Jackalkind. And the Cloak of Jackalkind does this. If you cast a spell up to 5th level into the cloak pin, you can say a command word as a bonus action and gain the effects of that spell as if it was cast on you with its full duration. It also gives you +1 to saving throws.
Oh.
Not bad, not bad.
That is really good.
I didn't see any of you writing. Do you need me to say that again? Now I see everyone going. Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Looking at
up to 5th
myself.
level. You cast it into the brooch or the cloak pin like it was a ring of spell scoring. It does not require attunement. And when you say the command word, you gain the effects of the spell as if it was cast on you for its full duration. No concentration required. Also, it gives you
Command word
+1
and
to as a bonus action. You can activate it. Oh, and by the way, the spell has to have a casting time of 1 action.
So I'm gonna politely decline on this one with the full fact that I do not know how magic works at all, like in the slightest.
It's pretty easy. I can
Well-
cast it in there for you, and you can wear it, and then you can use the action, and that'll do it for you.
I could
Bacon's
as well.
wife just did the worst stealth check I've ever seen. She should have just come in. Bacon's wife just crawled through the door, and she could not have been more on camera.
Man, the new Metal Gear Solid looks great.
That's okay. There's no
Sorry.
exclamation point above my head.
Tam looks at the cloak and looks to the others and says, "One of you should wear this, and I could cast something that'll protect you."
I think I'm okay. One of the other two should maybe wear that.
I'll take it. I'm gonna be out there in the front. Might as well be me.
And she hands over the cloak
then-
to you.
And
We
then
should
just
ask
think
what
about
command word
how
was.
just think about how fantastic it's going to look when you are in the process of suplexing a dragon and then having this bellowing cloak behind you. It's going to look sick.
Oh yeah. Gonna be great with my bare chest. Gonna rip off my shirt and everything.
Also,
it does
for me.
It does billow, but because you are so much wider than Chenzira, even though he is taller than you, it works out a little bit. So you have you are wearing the cloak of Jackalkind.
Right. Got any ideas for a spell to put in this thing?
It's a good time to do it because you're about to rest.
Yeah, like Death Ward, maybe?
Oh, you're getting that anyways. Don't worry.
Oh, what's that one spell that I heard someone talk about? It starts with a H and ends with an ace. I don't really know.
None of us know that, I don't think.
Well, actually, I do.
Hold on. We're in the land of unaging wizards. We can make this work out.
What spell are you guys talking about?
Haste.
So we can do protection from energy. Those are the two sort of options as I see them.
Tam was actually going to suggest Spirit Guardians, but protection from energy
I don't
was
actually know what that
great.
does.
It's,
I recommend you pick something that requires concentration, whatever it is. So double check and make sure, because it'll be
Protection from energy
your
does.
opportunity to.
Let's do it.
Which one would you like, Arcady? Would you like to go faster? Would you like to not be hurt as much by cold or whatever the guardians that she does?
Protection from energy. As much as I would love to close faster, I think we can get around that, but I don't want to be turned into a bearsicle.
All right, who's casting this?
Tam will. She knows it.
All right. It's concentration up to 1 hour. For the duration, the willing creature you touch has resistance to a damage type of your choice: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder.
We're going to go
Which
with
one do you
acid.
pick?
No,
God.
We're gonna go with acid. I'm not getting melted by acid. Nuh-uh.
Not today.
Yeah. Today's not a melty day.
All right. So you continue your rest. One of you has a new blanket, but otherwise, it goes well. In the morning, when everyone rises and gets everything cleaned up, so on and so forth, uses the eating room. After that, very much so. It's only big it's big enough for two. It's all right. So at that point, Mosswen shows up, and Mosswen is with a retinue. There are 8 or so jackals with her, and they are carrying a box. It's a gold box. It looks a little bit like the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones. So
You took the
they're
joke right
carrying
out
it. It's this gold box about the size of a casket, and it's inlaid with gems, and there is white gold swirled through the gold casting.
I feel
They set it
underdressed.
down behind Mosswen, and she bids you hello. We have brought our city's relics, and we are prepared to help you if you have specific requests.
Oh gosh. What kind of relics are we talking here?
The box behind me is filled with some of the deepest secrets of this city. The objects contained within were created not long after the creation of this world. They are gifts from the Seelie that we are charged with the protection of. I cannot tell you everything that is in it, but if there is some way that your plan is falling short because of your own resources and what you have gathered in power, I want to help. While it may seem that I am wrathful toward Cole, I want you to know that he, like all jackals of my city, is beloved to me, and I want to help in your cause.
Tam sort of looks at the others and looks a little unsure.
All right. Can we have a moment? Yeah. Let's talk this out. Hello, gang. Our media problem. We are going to our plan is to go in there and infuriate this dragon. And then we might be running for our lives. We might be standing and fighting, and an even worse idea. We don't know what part comes next. So my thought is, I need a way to close with the damn thing. And the rest of us kind of need a way to be a little less squishy. Easy? That's where my mind's going. Anybody else? Any bright ideas before we go into diving into the goodie box? Mystical magical goodie box?
Well, our goal isn't to just make her angry. Our goal is to convince her that it's worth it to drop the curse and drop this indentured servitude she's putting on Cole's family.
Magical persuasion could be really funny.
Oh, it wouldn't matter if it's not permanent, and that would delay it at best.
But I don't think that. I'm pretty sure that familial curses fall under the note take backsies rule.
Don't worry, we're going to make her take it backsies.
You just have to convince someone that something else is worth more.
Like her life, for example.
Or
her belongings.
Her belongings, her legacy. I have a whole speech planned about how everything she's ever done will turn to dust.
Oh yeah, I believe that
We
you
got
have
this.
that ready. Yeah, it's going to be very convincing. You also talked about being able to break the lodge house. Am I right?
That's show up, make a really loud speech about how I'm going to turn all of her memories into dust, so they'll fade forever in time, and everything she's ever done will be for naught. And hopefully get her to agree to lift the curse, so we'll leave, and then we'll probably be running for our lives and fighting her in a long fight in the wagon.
You do need to be able to convince her that you can break the lodge house down.
I'm a bear.
You are. You will have to hit very hard.
She is.
I have an argument. It's called "I'm a bear."
She is a dragon.
She is a dragon. Yes.
Honestly, the biggest in my mind is that there's no way to convince her as long as she can just fly above us. We have to be able to bring her down to the ground. If we can bring her down to the ground, then we can take away a lot of her power, and she'll be forced to talk to us.
She will talk.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way of looking at it. Either for us to come to her or for us to bring her down.
There are spells that I cannot get from Peroa that no doubt the jackals can cast that could cause her to fall still for a moment. Tam's talking about hypnotic pattern, by the way.
Please take inspiration for going through so much trouble not to say the name of a spell. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I mean, if they
Okay.
happen to have something in there labeled of dragon slaying, I think that might prove
We
to
should
be
ask.
useful.
That might be a little convenient, but it
Completely
can't hurt to
unsubtle.
ask.
I like it.
Direct.
I would prefer to not actually slay her if we can help it, though.
I
I'm
mean,
going to give her. Okay,
Sealy, so you know, Sealy's they
Emily,
do they
I
like dragons. I
promise
don't
you.
know.
I promise you, by solemn oath, I will give her a chance to hug it out.
So you can body slam.
It's more of a
I mean,
pile
if she
drive.
wants to do it peacefully, I will go that far. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
So, what are you gonna ask for?
Okay, so we have, we have something to hold her, down. Maybe some way for me, for us to get close, and I think that was it.
Killian scratches his chin and then looks to Jack and says, I believe you had an idea, actually. You should start with that one. The dragon slaying sword.
Oh yeah, dragon slaying. Okay, all right.
Or
Yeah,
just do
all in.
something that packs an absolute wallop.
Okay, so roll me insight checks.
That's a 7.
15?
16.
5.
Okay, so 15 and 16. I want to talk to 15 and 16 for a second. So, you have probably been in situations like this before, where, in fact, it's very common, especially for Tamalai, because Tamalai is like such a do-gooder. Tamalai has been in situations before where a town or city will be in a lot of trouble, and they will offer her some help with, sort of a help me help you kind of situation. And they don't know, because they don't know as much as you do in those situations, how much of themselves they have to give to be useful. So in those situations, a lot of places will say, I can't give you everything, but I can offer you as much as would be useful, because if you ask for too much, then there could be negative consequences. In this case, we're not talking about money. We're talking about secrets and relics. So you get the sense that the more specific of a request you make, the more leverage you're going to have to get something useful. If you just say, if you go in and say, we need something that helps us kill the dragon, it looks like you don't actually have a plan, and you're just sort of hoping that they'll give you a bazooka to shoot at it. In which case, your help is probably going to be less substantial, because if it doesn't look like you have a plan, then they're not going to give you something that, something really valuable that they could potentially lose if you get smushed by a big glacier. Something to keep in mind.
Well, we'll be able to fight her more effectively anyways if we're down on the ground. So let's actually ask for that first.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So Mosswen and her retinue are waiting for your response. They let you go into a private room, and you come out back into the courtyard by Cole's house.
So, it's likely if we're forced into combat with her, she's going to attack us not just from the air, but from very far away. We need a way to force her to the ground.
She turns to her retinue, and they speak for a few moments in their own language. And then two of them go over to the lid, the top of the relic box, and the other four lift it off. They seem to move together, as if it gives you the impression that they are holding one another accountable for what they touch and even what they look at inside this box. The two of them reach into the box and lift out together an object wrapped in a rather ugly cloth. There's a gray scrap of some sort of rudimentary fabric wrapped around this object. They quickly replace the lid of the box as soon as it's removed, and then step out in front of Moswin, who nods. We will lend you something important to us for this purpose. Unwrap it. They take the cloth off, and inside is a rock. There is it looks like a stalactite if you broke off part of a stalactite. And there is a worn set of symbols that have been eroded by sand or wind, weathered over some amount of time. The two of them set it on a table that a third one sets up. They don't want to hand it directly to you. They want to just make it available. This is a piece of earth from the world that came before this one. Before your god came here and remade things to her liking, the Sealy kept some of the old wild place and gave it to us for our protection. This object is, in your language, called the Spike of the Earth's Pulse. I will tell you how it works, and then she does, and I'm going to tell you how it works because I'm not going to say it in not D&D language and then say it again in D&D language because that would be boring. So the Spike of the Earth's Pulse. This is a dagger. It does 1d4 damage like any dagger, and if you can cause at least 6 damage with it, you can embed it into something's body. Cause at least 6 damage with 1 attack. It embeds into a creature's body. Thereafter, every 3 rounds, it pulls toward the ground. It pulses every 20 seconds or so, or 3 rounds. Every 20 seconds or so, it pulls toward the ground. And any creature that it's embedded in will take immediate fall damage, whatever gap there is between themselves and the ground. It also renders them prone. They can resist it, but if they resist it, they are resisting the pull of the spike, and they are harmed as the spike removes itself from them, and because the spike is going to touch the ground either way. So it faces them with a decision. They can either let themselves be grounded or face the trauma of having the spike pull back out of them, at which point you could take it and do it again. Do you guys have that?
Yes. How much damage does the Rip It Out do?
It does 8d6 piercing damage.
I have
And
it
I'm
all.
assuming the stats are just like regular dagger.
Yes, it's not an enhanced dagger in any way. This thing barely looks like a weapon. Like, you're gonna have to use it for something it's not really intended for.
Well, if we can get to it, that will be very good.
I reckon I can
Yes.
make that work.
Can you?
I got a real good throwing arm.
Yeah, that.
Please
Thank-
take care of this. This is an important object to our culture. It would be she looks in particular to Tamalai. It would be awkward between the Church of the Seelie and the Church of Pirwa if this were lost or stolen?
Of course.
Stupid clerics and their responsibilities outside themselves. So, we hope that this will aid you.
Tam looks to Arcady and also says, wasn't there something you wanted to ask a jackal if they could cast for you?
Yeah. So I will turn to the wisest and say, before we leave, I'd like if there's anybody that could a little bit of an extra boost. It might. I want every advantage that we can, and it might come in handy. I have the ability. Yes, I've made a little something that can store a brief burst of energy, and if I can use that to close with the dragon, I can bring it to the ground. Do you have anyone who would be able to give me a little bit of arcane energies to store in this? He pulls up a little a little small spinning bauble.
Okay. The wisest nods. I am trained in several of the magic arts. Is there a specific type of effect you're looking for? She takes the bauble.
Yes, a way to move faster, to close with the dragon, to run or jump. I'm looking for jump.
Oh, you're looking for jump. Okay, I thought you were looking for haste. I'm like,
jump.
I don't think haste. Yeah. Okay.
I don't have a way of storing haste, but
I thought you wanted
Yeah.
enlarge.
Do you want jump or enlarge?
Oh, yes, enlarge that one. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, you don't. So you don't want jump. You
Okay.
do want enlarge.
Yeah, moving on. I do want enlarge because I can't grapple something if I'm not within a size category of it.
True.
which is
That's
important.
true. And she is at least huge. Okay, so the wisest Mossman takes it, and she looks at it with her own eyes, and then also a set of 4 more eyes that open up along the top of her head. She speaks in 3 voices at once, and her breath from the speech is a glowing green fog that falls on the bauble. When she's finished saying the phrase in a language you can't understand in 3 voices at once, saying 3 different things at once, the eyes close again. Here you are.
Thank you.
That was so cool.
Yeah. Beats any show I've ever done.
It is power channeled from the Seelie and my communion with them. Is there anything else? We need to return this to its rightful place. Every moment it spends out in open air makes me uneasy.
All right.
Don't suppose you got anything in there that can deal incredible amounts of violence very quickly? In case things get dicey, you know?
Tam sort of like covers her face with
We're
her
good.
hand.
We're good. Packing up. Getting the show on the road.
There's nothing in the relic box, but maybe I can send you with something. And then she does it again. The eyes open up again, except this time a lot more open. There are eyes on her cheeks and up her ears, and she looks down, and some of them are closed in prayer, while other ones are staring very intensely into her open hands that are empty. And she starts speaking. and it only takes a moment, but every word that she says sends a corona of light from one of the eyes that gather up into her open hands. And she closes it as if pressing clay into a ball. And then when she opens it again, there is a glass sphere. And inside the glass sphere are motes of light that are colliding against the edges of the sphere as if trying to escape. Every time they collide, they flash with light. So the glass object, strobes with magic. She holds it out and hands it to you. You should try and be far away if you break this.
Please don't drop that.
Yes, be very
Remember
careful.
that whole good throwing arm thing?
The magic within will last for 7 days.
Oh yeah.
And then it will dissipate.
Dare I ask what that will do?
It's gonna fuck up a dragon. That's what it's gonna do.
And maybe yes.
It channels the will of the Seelie. I am not certain what it will do.
Got a mystery bomb.
Let's
Make
Oh
sure you
yeah, we're
fly
going to do some
back.
save
quality
that
testing.
for maybe an emergency.
Well, maybe birthday parties. Who knows?
A gender
Just
reveal
save it.
party.
Oh, yeah,
It's
save
a
it.
boy.
It's a nuclear device.
It's a fae.
It's a thing.
So yeah, you have an orb. It has a big question mark.
Perfect. No, that's
Ponder
what,
it.
that's what we wanted.
I have
I will
played
ponder
games
the orb.
where I have had items like this, and I regretted throwing them.
No, it's fine. It's gonna be great. I'm sure.
I'm Australian, no regrets.
It's full of spiders.
So, good luck, and we will see you soon. She says with
Yes.
some assurance. She seems assured of it. Mossman and her retinue then leave. You are now alone. Cole has not shown himself today.
We should probably try and find him and bid him farewell.
Would be that.
He said he was going to a private place.
No, that was his son.
That was. Yes.
Though
That one.
he's probably wondering where his son is right now.
Oops. Not my responsibility.
That's the spirit.
There we go.
We're talking about 2 adults. It's not my problem.
Are we doing enough for this guy?
All right. So
You want me to?
do you want to look for
talk
Cole? Or do you want
him?
to leave?
Let's at least poke around for him.
Okay. It doesn't take you long to see that there's a folded note on the table that's been pushed against the wall to make room for you. And you open it up, and within the note, there is the following message: "My shame is too great to face you before you leave. However, I have left a small token that I hope will be of use to you, especially of use to you. And there is a smooth oblong stone that the note was actually sitting on. And when you lift it, you see Cole's name appear in green light along its surface. You have definitely seen an object like this before. This is a riverstone. And a riverstone reaches into the arcana and sends your words through it to its mate. Riverstones carry the voices spoken with intent through them to the other person. So you can use this to speak with Cole. Oh,
Who's
man,
gonna
what the
carry
fuck? You're not going to see us off.
Who's gonna carry that?
I mean, leave it in the wagon. If we really need to, do we need to talk to him while we're going into places?
DM can carry it.
You should badger him with questions all around.
Yeah. How's it going? How's it going?
What's your favorite movie?
We're entering the,
All right,
we're entering the lair.
When Tam picks it up, she is just going to say thank you into it.
Okay. There is no response, but you do see that your voice has been carried. By the way, I described this in a very fancy way, but riverstones are actually fairly common in the beast world. It's a little nicer than a potion, but a mid-level scroll is more expensive. So, are you ready to leave?
I believe so.
It's a bit of
Do
a
it.
journey, so get to it.
Okay. So you take the axe beaks.
We're not
and-
giving those back.
This time, Cole's not with you, so I imagine it's just a little bit unnerving to approach the edge of a cliff that you're about to hurtle off of, and then just sort of not do that. But you are skyward, and then the axe beaks carry you down back below the clouds. You head toward the town, and it takes you several days to get there. So you fly for several days and land when you have to, and you skip along Aurea. It is a very convenient way to travel through Aurea because difficult mountain passes that you would have to trudge through with horses and skis just sail along underneath you. You head right over the mountains into the west of Aurea. And after 5 or 6 days, I would say 6 days. After 6 days, you come to the place where this town is known in history to the bears to have been. So there is an abandoned mountain pass that centuries ago had a pretty devastating landslide that rendered the entire region closed off. And past that, well, now it's just mountains. There's no sign anymore of the landslide, but over the mountains and into this region of flatland between the mountain range is a building. There is a building that looks like a clay jar. It is the shape of a jar on a throwing wheel. It bulges a bit in the middle, and it looks a little bit like a honey pot or a beehive. And it sits in the center of this region. It is 30, 40 stories tall, round, and made of white stone. It's open at the top, and there is a sheet of thick ice that's like glass across the top. What do you do?
Does this match the location and such?
It's in the same region, and there's not much else known to be out here. You certainly have never heard any stories about anything like this.
As a matter of course throughout the travel, as the crew has gotten closer, Killian has been messing around with the mechanics of the wagon. And so before this flight, he would have tried to fiddle with the bola launcher to improve its accuracy. So I wanted to get that.
Okay, yeah. I think you have to roll a check for that, right?
I do. I have to roll with the Wainwright's tools or Tinker's tools.
Which are you using, just out of curiosity?
Wainwright tools for here.
Okay.
Practice
All right.
crew. So I will roll.
So you're trying to basically overcharge this bola thrower.
Exactly. And with the proficiency, it is an 18, which means that for this day, Killian was successful in ratcheting up the power of the entangling bola that we have. It's a grade 3 weapon.
Great.
So
Yeah. So for reference for the audience, we're talking about some beta rules that are going to be in the book. Your wagon has a bunch of stuff built into it and onto it, and among them is this. Well, I'll let you describe it. It's your wagon. So what the hell are you talking about?
yeah, 1 second. Let me grab that.
While he's grabbing that,
Sure.
so Tam has been spending a lot of this journey in flight sketching from the roof. She's like sketching the landscape and such. But in the last day before they reach the region, she spends most of the day in prayer with Perella, and she is going to cast Death Ward 3 times on all of the other party members as we're like approaching this.
Of the spells that Tamalai would ever be willing to cast, I think this is the least Tamalai sounding spell. Death Ward. It's because ward could mean like keep away or like the child of death. Remind me what Death Ward does, please.
Death Ward lasts for 8 hours, and if an effect would reduce someone to 0 HP, they instead go to 1 HP, and the spell ends.
Wow, that's a very useful 4th level spell.
It
It's
sure
like a
is.
free life.
And
Okay.
if something would instantly kill someone, just doesn't work, and the spell ends.
Just doesn't work. Does anyone have any other? Okay, so I'll ask the question this way: does anyone have any other 8-hour things to do?
Yeah, I have the cloak.
Are you activating it now?
Hold on. Protection from energy 8 hours or 1?
I think it's
I think
one.
it's 1.
It's 1. Never mind.
You wait on it. Okay, it's gonna be relevant. All right. So if you're all set, then where would you like to go? Right now, you are high. You're still in the air, I'm assuming, high above this building, this object, this tower, and there is a fog surrounding it, such that you can't see the ground from where you are.
All right. We should close in. We should close in low. We should man the weapons and try to look for an entrance. Any objections?
None for me.
Agreed, but let's be careful.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
don't fuck up. Cool.
Yeah, what if this
yeah.
dragon has anti-air defense cannons now?
So Killian
Isn't
is
that
at.
just a dragon?
That's a good point.
we'll
Killian
take
is
it.
in.
Yeah, then we'll find a narrow valley where they can't shoot into, and we'll ride it to our
All right.
destination.
So Killian is in the driver's seat, and is bringing your now flying wagon in low. As you bring it through the fog, which is just enough to keep you from seeing what's going on down here from the sky. As you get in closer, you can see that there is a moat surrounding this tower. And it is at least 200 feet wide. And it runs around almost the entire thing. And at the bottom of the moat is not water, but steel spikes. And they are of several different sizes cooperating together to better destroy things of all sizes that might fall into them. It casts this imposing ring around the entire structure. Moreover, floating at regular intervals in a pattern around the entire building are white cubes. They are 10 or 15 feet on a side, and they stay completely static in the air. Roll me Arcana checks.
That's ominous.
It's Good old 7.
1.
Yeah,
18.
that's gonna be an 8.
All right. What did you roll, Salius?
I rolled an 18 and I have a +0.
18 will do it. So it just so happens that you have heard of this thing. This cube is a whispering cube. One of these things is very, very valuable. The advantage of them, they are used to guard places. One of them could guard a place from threats that might threaten you. There are 100 of them or more around this ring. What they do is they act a little bit like arcane eyes. They can see based on the judging by the size of these ones, they can probably see to the edge of the moat, and they can also cast a spell. They can have a spell in them like a glyph of warding. So they're like cube watchdogs that just sort of sit and can do all sorts of things. You don't know what these ones do, but they can do all sorts of things when they detect a creature.
You know, I bet dragons have emergency exits to their lairs. Maybe we should go try and find a different way in instead of the way through the minefield of 100 doom cubes.
I somehow I don't think there's going to be a gap. That said, could you make one?
Just so you know, you've only seen the close side of this thing. You haven't done an entire lap of it.
Yeah, let's circle around. But if we have to go through it, could we dispel it?
Could dispel one of them.
What if we just crash through the roof?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, let's crash through the roof. That's a great idea.
I'm not sure the axe beaks would appreciate that.
How far up are the cubes?
What kind of what's your model? What model wagon are you driving? You're driving a wind sprinter. Okay. Oh, that makes sense because you have axe beaks. Yeah.
Yeah, and the grounding bola.
F-180.
That's basically what I'm asking. There are 6 different models of wagons that do different kinds of things. The reason I asked is because one of the models actually has a ram on its front, but you're not driving that one. You're driving. Lucky for you, you're driving the really, really fast one. All right. So, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. So you were just discussing possibly going through the roof. You would ask me something. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's. So yeah, do a circle. See if we have any ideas that are less dumb than going through the roof, and then let's go through the roof.
Sure. So there is a way in. This thing does have even a white dragon has minions. So they need a way in that doesn't murder them. So there is a bridge across the moat that is made of metal and is currently rolled up on the far side. It is a set of heavy steel slats 20 feet wide that is curled up on the other side of the moat. There are 2 cubes closer than the others on either side of where this bridge would be. And there's no road leading up to it. It's just dead ground, and then there's the edge. However, I forgot to mention, at the other side of the bridge, there is a tall and wide set of doors in the object, this tower. What do you do?
Okay.
Well, that is the front door.
Likelihood of threading the needle? What do you guys reckon?
Low, but probably if we can if we have a dispel ready, we might be able to squeeze it. You see any other ways in? Roof or
If a white dragon was going to have a secret sort of escape like sort of tunnel or something like that.
Mhm.
Does anything about the landscape speak to Tam in a way that maybe that's where it is?
Roll me a nature check.
Nature, okay. Ah, damn it, that's a 9.
Unfortunately, no. However, I will tell you something else. So Jack catches movement out of the corner of his eye. He looks up, and he sees it's a speck from where you are. There is a thing moving up in the sky, and when you see them, you look a little closer, and there are a swarm, for lack of a better word, of these. They're the size of dust from where you are now, but there are things flying around at some distance up in the sky over the top of this thing.
So there's like a flock of I don't know, like birds or some shit or something. I don't know. The flock of something over there, real far away, but probably knowing this place a bad sign. I'm gonna reckon.
I'd like to get a closer look.
We don't want to call attention to us until we're ready to. Are we ready to?
Real quick, so the cubes, how are they arranged? You said they are above the moat and they circle. Are they all of equal height?
Yes.
Or okay.
Do they cover the entirety of the tower? Do they like stretch over, or
There's only one ring of them, and they are, I'm going to say 90 feet or so above the ground, and they run every 60 feet. Sorry, 45 feet, such that anywhere you are, assuming that they have a radius of 90, a sight radius of 90 feet, if you're in the moat, you're concentric with 3 of them.
Flying over.
okay, three is too many. We could try to fly over the ring, but there has to be something. This is a flying creature. She has to have seen that coming.
We'd be going through the front door as well, which is probably not the smartest approach.
But it would also be like the least expected, let's be honest. No one goes to kill a dragon and just waltzes through the front door.
Okay. So the expected way, or take our chances with whatever's flying up there and try and go for surprise.
Well, if we're going to try and talk to her first, smashing through her roof probably won't really encourage her to chat. But I
mean,
imagine
we're
we'll be.
already planning on threatening property damage anyway. I mean, what's a glass roof gonna do?
What's the range on detect magic?
I think it's 30 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
Would
not
you
close
just
enough.
check my work? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. This is going to be hard, so if I'm giving you less than you would get otherwise, you should try and take it. All right, so yeah, for the audience's benefit, after game last week, I did tell all 4 of them to think about how they're going to do each step of this, and that's actually why they made a wagon sheet last week, because this is not trivial.
Well, before we just smash through the roof, let's at least make sure it isn't going to try and kill us as we do.
Bring us in close then.
So you're going to bring the wagon in over the tower.
I believe that is, yeah. We want to get a better look at the top there, and that will put us
Okay.
closer.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, yes.
Roll perception. Very useful.
29.
Oh, that's terrible. What'd you roll? 2? No. All right, so 29's great. And it will. So you will see the things that are flying above the tower before they see you, which is useful because what you're looking at here is 500 or so pseudo dragons. There are pseudo dragons that are zipping about above the tower, just looking around. They're looking at each other, and they look to be muttering something to each other. They're all muttering the same thing in a language you don't understand, but they just are constantly saying this phrase back and forth to each other as they fly around. And they're covering the entire top of this thing and just flying around in a cloud above it.
So, update on the little flying bastards. It's a bunch of little pseudo dragons, and they're all saying something, and I have no clue what. But they're all just kind of doing up there in the flappy.
Are we able to hear them muttering for at least 1 minute?
No.
Okay.
You can't actually hear. You can't hear them at all. It's lucky that you're not that close because then they would have seen you. But you're very, very far away from them, and you're
Gotcha.
like you can't even see them. You have to take Jack's word for it. But Jack has the sharpest eyes that ever were. So.
All right. It's go time. We need a decision. Either
Go time.
Spirit Guardians and straight through the roof, or take our chances with the door. Go time. What do you say?
You can always flip a coin if we can't decide. Sure, that'll end well.
I don't think the one with 500 enemies is the right one.
Bug on windshield is my.
Is there a route around, like, sort of above the moat, not like through the moat or in range of the cubes? Is there a route that would let us get to that door that isn't also going to take us like within line of sight of the pseudo dragons?
No. If you want to, there is no way. So, in summary, now that you have all the information about what's going on out here, if you just want to like approach, you will definitely be seen either by the cubes, or if you come in high, by the pseudo dragon cloud. So you need to be more creative than I fly in. I comfortably saw that one coming. By extension, she did.
Let's see.
Yeah. So, Spirit Guardians will deal real nice with those pseudo dragons, and we can just avoid the worst of it while we smash our way through. Or we can take our chances trying to lie our way past the magic defenses and hope that we can get past whatever traps are there. You need to decide, and you need to decide now. I vote roof.
I'm also in favor of smashing through a roof.
You also, just so you know, have not landed at all, and have not been close to the place where the bridge connects with the other side of the moat. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm not withholding any information. Like, right, you don't necessarily know everything. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't want to assume you come in closer than you do.
Tam's still thinking about if there is an alternate entrance that isn't just smashing straight through 100 defenses at once, like we're some kind of giant battering ram.
Yeah.
So she is going to advocate for landing out on the edge of the moat, or like out like on the edge and away from the moat.
Okay.
Come down.
One vote for above and one vote for the bridge.
I goes to the driver. Steer us one way or another. Let's steer us one way or another.
Makes sense to even if we get through these cubes, there's still the front door. Killian looks up for a minute, considers it, and my vote's for the ceiling.
Skyfall, baby, let's do it.
Right. So, is there anything specific you want to tell me about your approach?
All right. So, Tamalai, did you prepare Spirit Guardians today?
She sure did, and if this is the plan, she will go
How long does
ahead.
Spirit Guardians last?
Let me double check.
10 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay. 1 minute would have been worth discussing, but yeah, it can be done. All right. So, tell me what Spirit Guardians does.
Any creature that enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there has to make a whiz save, and on a fail, they'll take 3d8 radiant damage.
Okay. What's the range? What's the area?
It's going to be 15 feet.
Okay.
It's
Is
not
it around a
especially
point or around a person?
It is around a point. Specifically,
Point.
it's... oh, no, I'm sorry. It's around Tam, specifically. The
Oh, okay.
point I'm thinking of is Guardian of Faith.
Yes, you are.
Um,
Are you casting that too?
Tam is also going to cast that on our static tile.
Static tile. Tell me what the static tile does and why it exists.
The static tile is a single, tile 5 feet on a side on the wagon that it basically exists as though it were at a relative stable position in space, which means that you can cast things like Glyph of Warding or Guardian of Faith on it, things that normally would not move with a wagon.
Right. Okay. So it's a moving thing that thinks it's standing still.
Correct.
Okay.
And the range on that one is only 10 feet. It is a dex save.
Okay. What does it do?
Similar to Guardians of Faith, any creature hostile to me that moves to a space within 10 feet of the Guardian for first time, which looks like a giant spectral bat, has to succeed on a dex save, and on a fail, it takes 20 radiant, or half as much on a success.
All right. Wow, Guardian of Faith is great.
Oh yeah, as long
8
as you
hours, no
can.
concentration.
Yeah, as long as you can get a nice static spot.
Yeah. All right. So you are the very first use I've ever seen or heard of using the static tile is to cheese a spell. Very good. Because you are explicitly using this spell that is supposed to guard a single area, and then you're gonna swing it around like a morning star and use it to swat CR quarter creatures out of the sky. Very good.
We're not trying to clear it. They're going to swarm on us, so it's kind of like a puzzle where we're relatively standing. Whatever. Moving on.
Okay.
Tam's just like a font of like radiant magic right now because she keeps just casting like Death Ward over and over, and then Spirit Guardians, and then Guardian of Faith. She is very concerned. She looks very worried as she's casting all of this.
All right. So you have two options for your approach. You can approach laterally, which has less risk of them seeing you before you arrive because of the nature of their cloud. Or you can approach from the top such that if you fall, it's not quite as devastatingly far and into a big spike pit. Which would you like to do?
Okay, so I think we should do the second one because there is no way that we are going to get all of them, and there is no way that so there's like once we start doing this, we are no longer subtle.
Okay.
So we might as well.
That is interesting, but you are not driving. So I'm really just asking Arcady.
This is true.
How do you bring him in?
So, pretty confident in these driving abilities.
Yep.
The sooner they see us, the more the resistance there will be. We're doing that first one.
Okay, so you're coming in from the side. Okay, so the reason I sort of cut some discussion off is because it doesn't really matter. You come in from the side, and as soon as you're close enough that any of the other three of you that aren't Jack see a pseudo dragon or even see what the hell he's been talking about, there is a movement in the cloud, and it ripples through the cloud very quickly, and they all swarm up and then down into a rim along the edges of the top of the tower, and they disappear. They're gone. You come in laterally and you land. Well, I'm not going to tell you land, but you're now over the tower, and you have avoided the cubes seeing you, but you have obviously not avoided the pseudo dragon seeing you.
When you say disappear, you mean like invisibility disappear, or?
No, as in they went into the tower.
Gotcha.
They all went into the tower.
Okay. There any entrances on the roof, or are we making our own?
You see a sheet of glassy ice on the top of the roof. It is very, very smooth. You can see reflection even from. I'm gonna put you 90 feet above it.
Okay. Anybody got a way to shatter that? That's not the mysterious orb?
I mean, if we land on it hard enough, I'm sure it'll be fine.
We should.
Yeah, the spike. We could land on it and use the spike if we have to.
Oh, we need to save the spike for Saura.
I mean, if we punch it hard enough, maybe it'll break.
We should at least take a look first.
Great.
And Killian will bring it down closer. Get a better look at this thing.
Yeah.
Intending to eventually even come to a land on it. Just so they know what we're dealing with here.
For your
Okay.
guys' reference, the spike is only good for one use.
The blast spike is only for one use. Okay.
Yes. The bolus is 4.
When you go to use that, I'll have you tell everyone what you're talking about. But for now, it's cool. So you're gonna land, right?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a thump thump as the skis hit the ice, and the axe beaks are having kind of a hard time with it. They're slipping and sliding around, and they're very dumb, awkward creature. So they slip and slide around. One of them falls on its ass, and then you're also fishtailing pretty hard, but eventually you come to a stop, and you are now, I'm going to say, about 3/4 to the edge from the center.
Okay.
What do you do?
Can we see anything through the ice?
No, it is a white-blue sheet of glassy ice.
So I can give punching it a shot. Not sure how well that'll work, but I mean,
You should definitely
always
do that, actually.
a shot.
Yeah, pop out.
I just want to see that. I want to see you punch the ice.
No, it's
yeah,
might work.
Jack's just gonna get out and he's gonna falcon punch the ice, I guess.
Cool. Roll me an attack roll.
That would be a 26 to hit.
You hit the floor. Roll me a whatever your damage is for doing that.
I don't know why I rolled for it. It's just 8 damage, just in general.
Okay. So, yeah, Jack rears back and smacks the ground. It's a good effort, and it does leave a about a 2-3 foot crack in the ice. Will you please roll me a dexterity saving throw?
Sure, this will go well. That is a 24.
24. Okay. So the moment that his fist hits the ground, for a split second, he thinks he did just a phenomenal job, because the whole ground shudders once, and a 5-foot cube of this ice springs up out of the floor and smashes into the space where he is kneeling. He dives out of the way just in time as the two collide. The cube touches the floor, and the place where it impacts, rather than smashing the ice, actually repairs it. The cube then quickly slides along the ground and replaces itself in the floor.
Well, that's bullshit. Stupid
Wow.
self-repairing house.
You are beginning to suspect that Salrua doesn't want unannounced visitors.
Completely fair.
That's a joke. All right. So, what do you do? Oh, by the way, perception checks everybody but Jack, because Jack was preoccupado.
He's the best at it, though.
Ooh.
That's good.
That is a 19.
So
Oh, that's pretty good.
23.
Wow.
24.
So perceptive. So everybody saw it. When Jack did that, the cube that sprang up out of the floor was complete. You now know. So in other words, it left a square hole in the ceiling, or the roof, I guess. It left a square hole in the roof, and it was a perfect 5-foot cube. So you now know the thickness of the ice, and potentially how to make a gap.
Tam has an idea.
Okay.
Okay.
She's going to see this party. She's going to sort of get herself ready, like a spring ready to pounce, or a tiger ready to pounce, with dispel magic. And like, if you do that again, I will try and dispel the cube so that it can't go back.
All right, let's rock. Okay, I'm going to leap into action and start hammering away at trying to make the established gap larger. I got a great sword.
Jack is gonna join in with the ice smashing to do as much damage to one spot as possible.
Tam gets dispel magic ready. You just had to make it
All right.
crack again.
The condition of the ready to action that you were holding is when you see a cube, right?
Yeah. As soon as the
why am I asking that?
well, as soon as the cube like sort of leaves its space to do its thing.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's already in action to shoot one of the cubes as it tries to do its thing. Killian will attack a cube.
Are you attacking the same 5-foot space?
I'm gonna say yes. Also, I rolled a nat 20 against the ice
Critical hit, baby.
for a 32.
Going ice fishing.
How much? So you do
man.
16 damage. That's a lot of damage to ice. That's almost 5 feet through.
And that's just unarmed strike. That's not even anything special.
Damn.
Fennec.
All right, so I gotta roll a percentile real quick.
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right.
Uh-oh. He's laughing.
So
He's laughing.
the mistake is apparent as soon as the two of you start attacking. And that is that the two of you are attacking a space 5 feet in distance from the other. But the problem is the invisible grid that makes up each spell, you are in different squares Therefore, there are 2 ice cubes closing in suddenly. Roll me a cast. I almost said caster level check. Please roll me a spell roll.
Spell roll.
Spell roll. I
Oh.
write Dungeons and Dragons content.
You write Dungeons and Dragons.
What's
This
the
is-
name
this
of the?
The Dispel Magic roll.
Yeah.
It is an ability check, and the DC is 10 plus the spell's level.
Oh, it's just an intelligence check. Okay. Or
Yeah,
for for you, it's a wisdom check.
Yes, and it is with my spellcasting abilities. Here we go.
Spell roll.
Yeah, 20.
All right, you did
Nice.
spell. Okay, so even if this was a 10th level spell, you'd have a little bit of respite from it.
If this was a
All
10th
right,
level spell, I'd be very worried.
So I'll let you choose. Whose cube do you render inert?
Tam is going to render the cube heading for the small Fennec inert first. She trusts their resident bear to take care of himself.
Also, that's blatant metagaming favoritism.
But
Because foxes are your
Jack-
favorite. No,
Jack
you
is
don't have to
small.
explain it.
Jack is small.
It's the good
He
kind of
gets
cheating.
smushed. He's
The
gonna
kind
get
that
smushed.
punishes Charlie.
Love
roll me
ya.
a dex save, man.
Alrighty. Oh, holy shit. That is a 19.
All right, 19 is good enough. So there is a moment of pristine clarity as Tamalai's favorite is made known. As Tamalai makes the split-second decision and stops one of the cubes. The other one smashes into the space where you get out of the way just in time and aren't flattened like so much pancake.
Oh my
Killian.
God.
Yeah, I was shooting a cube.
Shoot the
What was
cube.
that? Yeah. Probably the one that was going after Arcady.
Okay.
Tam likes Jack more, so Killian apparently likes Arcady more.
Cool. I will exploit this schism later.
It's a 21 to hit the cube.
You hit the cube. Do me some
Yeah.
damage.
It is 9 piercing damage.
Hey, nonsensically, it does almost as much damage as this crit. But you tear a chunk out of one of the corners, which does
Okay.
not repair itself. Not that that's relevant anymore because you solved the problem another way. But it doesn't repair itself, but it does go back to where it was. You now have a 5-foot gap and a big block of ice that is non-magical.
Excellent.
All right.
I'm picturing the cube after it dispels, by the way, because it was zooming towards the spot. I'm picturing it just sort of like sliding across the ground like an orphaned tire that has fallen off a car.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard someone refer to a stray tire as orphaned.
Orphan tire. I feel bad for the tire, and it's not even real. So the ice cube slides comically across the frame behind everyone who's making this effort, and then eventually skids to a stop.
All right. I'm going to try to widen this gap. Do I get an attack, a full attack?
If I
It's
may,
5 feet wide. You can go through.
if I may,
Oh.
we planned for this. We drove the wagon through that gap.
Yes!
I want to know how that's possible.
We have rat skeleton.
Okay, so I'm going to pretend I don't know what that is, and you
Sorry.
sound insane right now.
Oh, please, yeah, please.
Don't worry, we
please
have a rat
explain it.
skeleton.
This is your moment. This is your moment for how
Okay.
we prepare for this.
It's great. We have rat burns. Everything's fine.
At some point in the past, maybe our crew actually did an expedition to the Broken World together. But at
Okay.
some point in the past, I'm sorry, this is from Oil from the Dungeon. But we got this very rare material from the dungeon. It is an oil that was rubbed on like the corners and joints of the wagon that allows us to the interior size of the wagon doesn't change, but the outside harmlessly warps to fit through a 5-foot space. And we have to move it like 4 feet per 1 foot of movement when doing it. But the interior stays the same.
All right. So I'm imagining that this looks like when college kids move furniture up to a second floor apartment. So you kind of, all right, tip it up. No, get behind it on that side. No, what are you doing? Just get out of the way. And you tip up the wagon. Oh, it's just so weird. You make it like Michael Jordan in Space Jam when he goes into the golf hole, and it squeezes through a lot like a rat skeleton.
Is that what rat
down through the
skeletons
hole.
do?
Yes, yeah, that's why it's called a rat skeleton, because rats are very famously able to get into spaces they shouldn't be able to, because they can compress their skeletons and can kind of squeeze under like a door frame.
Freaky little creatures.
It's
I
very
have
well.
an
I mean, it
intense dislike of that. That's wow, that's a mental image.
No, it's fun. It doesn't happen all at once, and like it doesn't make any sound or anything. They can just squeeze under stuff. So.
Wait, so you're saying they can squeak through small spaces?
Yeah. So Arcady is jumping up and down on what is the back of the wagon as it sort of shoves through. And barring any better way to describe what just happened, you're now inside. Okay, so you drop onto a floor that is made of the same white stone as the outside. There is a square. There is a wall behind you, and you're in a large open hall. You fell about 30 feet, and handled it. It's not a big deal. So this room has a 30-foot ceiling, and you have a shaft of light that is shining on you from the one hole in the roof. It is dark all around you. You have broken the rules a bit of how one enters this building. What do you do?
Okay.
FBI, open up.
Little bit of light, maybe. Does our wagon have some lanterns on the front of it we can turn on?
Oh, yeah, get those fired up, no problem.
Okay. You turn on the high beams, and out in front of you, you see ice cubes moving. There are 5-foot cubes of ice sliding along the ground. And you hear in the distance a doom, 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 doom. There is a staircase forming in the floor. You look down and you notice that the stone of the floor and the ice of above move in much the same way. There are cubes sliding out of the floor and moving along to rearrange themselves. This modular everything around you is rearranging in front of you. And the walls eventually close in around you until you are in a 15-foot wide hallway. At the end of the hallway, about 120 feet from where you are, there is a staircase. Each step is maybe 1 foot, so a little bit higher than you'd expect a staircase to be, as if a creature that was much bigger than you was doing its best guess at what a stair for you might look like. What do you do?
Well, at least it's not a wide array of giant icicle spikes all flying at us to run us through.
Yep. Want to see if we can drive our car right up the stairs? That's a way to make an entrance.
Could we take a quick break? A little
Sure, yeah.
Break. quick bathroom break before we do the Halo thing where you drive the warthog into the enemy flag room.
It's like
Alright, funny
freaking
fun.
out and going out at like weird angles, and there's
Got
only
some-
one wheel touching the ground, but it's moving forward nonsensically.
I'm really good
Well,
at
we've
driving.
got skis, and one of the skis is on the ground, but the other one is halfway
that's
through
true.
the ground, and it's going.
We even
All
have
right,
a
we'll be-
full party of 4 manning the weapons.
All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm gonna get a beverage too. So.
All right, you're back.
Okay. So we are back. Now, so you've just come through the ceiling. There is a shaft of light and then darkness before you. You've turned on the lanterns the bullseye lanterns at the front of your wagon that shine forward. And off in the shadows, you can see a staircase that winds down out of sight.
All right. Now seems the time to start that protection from energy timer. So
That's,
I'm
1
gonna
hour,
kick
right?
that off. Yep.
Okay.
And then let's drive the wagon in. That's the best way to make an entrance.
Got it. We go forward.
All right. So you do go forward. Eventually, the stone parts become sporadic along the ground. You can see the individual cubes because they are interspersed with cubes of ice. And then eventually, there is only ice. And the staircase ahead is ice. The giant birds pulling your wagon are having not the best time with this. They're still able to pull it, but you're moving at half speed on this. Some would call it difficult terrain. So you're I'm going to stop you so I don't assume you're doing anything with new information. Right at the top of the stairs. Do you want to descend the stairs?
Do you see anything down them if we shine the bullseye lanterns that way?
It comes all the way around at least 180 degrees, such that you can only see 90 degrees forward, and you see it wind around the corner.
Jack, what do your fox eyes see?
They're taking the halflings to somewhere.
Jack Specialized just see ice.
It's cold. My eyeballs aren't freezing over yet, but it's cold.
Cam is going to cast Detect Magic.
Oh my god, the magic never ends. All right.
Don't worry, it does eventually run out. Don't worry.
So, Detect Magic. Tamalai gives herself the very specialized and sees there's just trans magic everywhere in this world. No, all these cubes are imbued with transmutation magic.
Pink, blue, and white. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, she's going to keep a lookout for anything that looks like a different kind of magic as they proceed,
Okay.
assuming they proceed.
Yeah, we keep on
You wanna
going
proceed?
forward. Yep.
All right.
Nothing stopping us.
Clunk, 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 clunk. You start descending the stairs, and the skis kind of go out to the very edge and then drop down 1 foot. The birds are doing their best. The stairs are they're having a little easier time with because they can brace against the edge of each stair. And as you descend the staircase, you come around the corner. You can hear the wall behind you form itself. There is a 2x2, so 10x10 wall that is forming of the cubes as you descend the staircase. When you get to the bottom of the stairs, the stairs themselves rise up into the ceiling that you've just descended from and become indistinguishable, as if there was no stairs there at all ever. They just move into the walls and into the ceiling. You are in a tunnel that is 40 by 40 feet square. And this 40-foot square tunnel continues forward about 40 feet. There are cubes that are moving continuously back and forth around this section of the tunnel 40 feet forward. They collide with each other in a way that makes your fingers hurt imagining having them in there. And there are chasms that open as they drop out and then rearrange themselves. And you can't see all the way forward because there's never a moment where there's a wall or there's a hole all the way through to the end. You can see about, I would say about 30 feet past the 40 feet where this pattern of movement is starting. And just as quickly as you can see that far, it's replaced by another cube.
Oh, jeez.
What do you do?
Definitely stop the wagon before it gets too close to those.
Okay. How far away from the beginning of this gauntlet do you want to be?
10 feet. We'll get close enough to understand it, but not too far away.
Okay. All right,
If I might suggest turning the wagon around a bit, so if we need to make a quick getaway, we don't have to worry about doing that on the way out.
We'll have to find a way out.
Well, behind us is a wall.
Yes. Yeah, and the hole that the stairs came through is now gone.
Well, shit.
And let me guess, too many blocks to beat our way through like we did originally.
It's an awful lot of ice to break.
Yeah. So guess we're hoofing it.
I do not want to leave the wagon here. If we can help it. There's got to be a way to get these things to arrange themselves in a way that is possible to pass through.
Should check the walls on the outskirts, see what we find. And Killian will hop off the wagon and try to understand what's happening here. If there's any sort of control system, or goes off to the side to try to get different viewpoints.
Roll me an investigation check.
Uh, 15.
Okay. 15. With 15, you can see that. Are you the only one that's investigating? What about the other three? What are they doing?
I'll help. I'll give the help action to someone who wants to investigate. I'll I'll try and sketch it out with my eidetic memory as they go and do that.
Tam's just keeping an eye on the other party members in case they need help.
I think Jack's also going to have a sniff around. Pun intended.
Great. All right, Salius, you want to roll me another d20s, because I'll give you advantage for having the help action at least.
Yeah. 17.
Hey, 17, okay. All right, so the help does help, but even more than the help is Tam's specialize. The Detect Magic has picked up, with the help of the two others who are doing this investigation and sort of trying to study the patterns of movement, Tam gets a glimpse of a thread of magic that runs from these cubes to a point past where you can see. You can see the thread of magic that is controlling the movement of the cubes. And by the way, the other thing you see is so along the main walls of these along the main walls of the tunnel are symbols carved maybe half an inch into the faces of these cubes, and there are two different symbols that alternate on a 3-pattern visibility. You can see one symbol, and then you see another symbol, and then you don't see any symbols. When you don't see any symbols, that's when the spheres move the most. They're banging into each other, and they're reforming the path forward, and it's most difficult to traverse through during that moment.
Tam will Tim will convey to the others and she sort of like tries to lean back and forth to see through the cubes as they pass by, and she'll point out to where she thinks that whatever is responsible for controlling their movement is.
Do you think you could destroy it or dispel it from that point?
No, I can't even see where it is. Not exactly.
Then, all right. Tell me what you see as you see it. I'm going to try to model it out to see if there's a pattern that we could move through. Since we see the faces change as they shift. Is there can we time it with a really good like driver and drive our way through?
No. It doesn't. There's never a space that is wide enough, even with Red Skeleton. There's never a space that's wide enough for the wagon to get through, and even if there was, the floor winds at right angles, and the path is constantly changing every few seconds.
Wagon is too big, but could a person get? Is this something a person could traverse?
Yes.
If we can get somebody over there and then they can get these things to just be a hallway, then we can just bring the wagon through.
I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but I am fairly limber, so if we need someone on the other end, I mean, you could always just yell at me and tell me what to do.
I can
Cut
I
the
can
red
also
wire.
get through things. Could both go. It's always better with another.
Yeah, that way if one of us dies, still have the other one.
Exactly. That's how we solve
Okay.
our problem.
Yeah, I'll take Overwatch. See if need be, I can shoot one of these cubes.
Killian will get close right before the blocks. Look to Tam and
as Killian gets close, she'll go like, "Oh, wait." She's gonna cast a warding bond on Cillian.
Ooh, what is that?
Actually, no, because you're gonna end up going more than 60 feet away from me, aren't you? No, never mind.
Maybe.
Never mind. I will save that for later. Never mind. Ignore me.
The two of you are going to head forward?
Yeah, he looks over his shoulder though and waits for Jack. This is a two-man job.
Yeah, Jack stands up next to him, loosens up a bit. Just tell us when, big man.
All right, so I will present you with a decision here. It's kind of difficult to visualize this, I know, and there's no exact path forward. But here's the question. Do you want to go on symbol 1, symbol 2, or when the path is rearranging itself? Every few seconds, and at a regular interval, you can see symbol 1 on the wall, you can see symbol 2 on the wall, and then everything is freaking out and the path is changing. Which of those 3 do you want to go on?
Be right after the change. I think that's so.
Okay, so you want to go on symbol 1?
Yeah, right as symbol 1 starts.
Okay. The moment you cross the threshold and start running on the path, the 2 of the symbols on the wall light up with a bluish white light. There is a panel on the floor that is following you. Whatever cube you happen to be standing on is lighting up with the same light as the symbol, and the air in a 10 by 5 cube, when that's lit up, is deadly cold. Both of you need to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Whee! That's a 13.
23.
Right. All right, I need to roll some d6s here.
It's good news. I have armor of cold resistance, so it's not going to be as bad.
Oh, you do. Cool.
The two of you, a past save takes half. The two of you take 34 cold damage as very, very quickly the ambient moisture in the air freezes on your body, and as you move forward, it's flaking off of you with every step. Also, both of you should roll me acrobatics checks. Unless you want to move slowly.
No, not with that name.
That's an 11.
15.
Okay. All right. So
Could be worse.
yeah, it's actually fine. No, it's fine. So Jack is less certain in doing this, and there is a moment when Jack looks like he's going to topple over the edge into a place you can't see underneath at the edge of this walkway that's forming around you. But it's okay. They get about 60 feet forward, or sorry, 30 feet forward, because they're still moving slower, and also they're not moving straight ahead, but they're 30 feet forward. And then you have to decide, do you want to keep moving? The symbol is changing. Do you want to keep moving or do you want to stop?
I'm committed. Jack's gonna keep going.
Yeah, the eyes
Okay.
are towards where Tam thought that the direction might go, so trying to keep an eye out.
Okay. There is, all right, so you head forward. There is a symbol that resembles an eye that lights up. And this one is not bluish white, but it is purplish. And as you head forward, the hallway stretches for Jack and also for Killian. And time distorts, and to Jack and Killian, they run and they run and they run, and thankfully nothing is happening for the first few seconds. They're going to make it, but then it's strange. They've been running for minutes, and they seem to be in the same place, but also so far away from their friends and so far away from the end of the hallway. Please make me wisdom saving throws.
15.
So that's a nat 1,
Oh no.
Well,
but I have advantage against being charmed and frightened, so would it count as that?
No.
Then that's a nat 1.
This effect, which by the way, the other two do not see. They just see them running like normal. So Killian is able to shake this off, and he focuses on a point on the horizon and says, okay, this is 20 feet from me, and moves that 20 feet. And things are normalizing for him. Jack does not have this idea, and is going to take some damage.
This sucks. This is the worst one. Killian, can you just throw me a rope, and that way you can just drag me along? Because you seem to be doing way better at this than I am.
See what happens.
Okay. So there is it stretches and stretches and stretches on, and you're running as if in a dream, and then space goes back to normal and pummels you. You just get the most intense headache, like someone slapped your brain. You take 47 psychic damage as this happens.
Jesus.
Do you want to keep moving or do you want to
Ow.
stop? The movement of the cubes is beginning to become more erratic. Are you still moving or have you stopped?
Still moving.
Still moving. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna keep. Jack's gonna keep moving. He's
Oh my god.
made it this far.
By the way, just so you know, the sphere or the cube that you're standing on is always still. Nothing is moving underneath you. All right, so you continue moving. All right, so as you continue forward, there are cubes from either side and the ceiling that are trying to push and slam into you. You're making your best attempt at getting through without getting hurt, but it is a matter of reflex. Make me dexterity saving throws.
Thank goodness I'm good at those.
Natural 20.
All right.
So I rolled a
Silly.
2, which makes it a 14.
Okay. Jack, you get caught halfway between two cubes as they smash into each other. That you are distracted for a moment as the cube underneath you, sensing through tactile sensation that you are standing on it, burns 90 degrees, and you topple 5 feet into a 5x5x5 pit. You climb out just in time for another cube to slide across you and bang you into the far wall. You get through, but you're going to take some damage.
Fucking hate this hallway.
Are they more than 60 feet away?
Yes. They've moved 30 feet each time.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. So, oh boy. You're going to take 40 bludgeoning damage.
Oh my god.
Okay, so the pattern is switching again. The cubes are slowing down, and the first symbol is coming back. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to stop?
As we're traversing, do we see the point? Do we see anything that might represent?
Yes. You
An
can't
orb.
see your friends anymore back.
Yeah.
You can't see or hear them. You're in the Matrix now.
Yeah.
But as you approach the last 30-foot jaunt, you can see the other end of the gauntlet. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to stop?
Killian needs to keep going. He's dodged a lot. Here.
Jack's gonna stop.
Okay. Killian moves, and as he moves, he sees that Killian, by stopping, does not provoke the attention of the first symbol. The two symbols do light up, though, and throw a party for Killian.
Yeah.
So, roll me a Constitution saving throw as frost sort of gathers up on you, and the air is killing cold and bites at your lungs as you breathe it.
So that is 15.
Okay, that is not good enough.
Cold damage as a reaction, because I know it's going to be a lot. We'll cast Absorb Elements.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up a dice roller real quick. I don't know why I assumed that. I
Could
wasn't
roll
gonna have
for
to
you.
roll so much. No, it's fine.
You rolled 6.
Good. Just announce them all, and then we'll have the chat. We'll have
Oh
chat.
no, they were all ones actually.
Oh, wow.
That's
How
lucky.
godly crazy.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
I know.
What are the odds? All right.
Low.
Okay. Low. You take 24 cold damage.
Okay, is that the total? And then
That's the total. You do any adjustments.
Okay.
So, Killian rolls at the edge past the last panel that lights up, and is now on the other end, gasping for breath. Jack, the symbol is changing to the second symbol again. Do you want to go, or do you want to wait?
I'm scared that if I go, I will die.
A valid
So
fear.
he's gonna just stay there. It's just like, Killian, I really hope you get this whole thing sorted real quick, because I'm not feeling so hot.
Does the dodge
Alright,
action
so-
give you advantage on dex saves? It should.
Yeah, it does.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, you are not accosted by the psychic feedback again, as long as you're in the movie. Meanwhile, back at the beginning. So they disappear into this pattern. They're gone for 10, 15, 20 seconds. Are you doing anything?
Tam is gonna shout after, like, a few seconds after, like, they get out of sight and be like, "Are you okay?"
They do not hear you.
Oh boy.
Oh, they don't hear us.
Yeah, Arcady is just going to start after like his attention span's like maybe 5 minutes. He's going to start getting like more and more twitchy, but it's like they got this. They're professionals. They got this. They're professionals.
So you wait.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's get ready to take the wagon through this as soon as it looks like there's a gap.
All right.
Like, don't worry, they're professionals. And Jack's just standing there with like several broken like ribs and like bleeding out of everything.
Bleeding all over the
Killian.
place. Yeah.
What's the plan? Do you want to
So-
head forward? What are we...
Two things to look at. First, look back and see that Jack is having a rough one. And then towards the destination, where all this is stopped. Is there anything that looks like a control or anything that is the reason why all this is happening?
No. There is a place where the wall stops, and it is just a square, and it's just a hallway that is, as far as you can tell, a total dead end.
So there's not even a path forward, or what lies beyond the storm of cubes here?
There is a 20 by 20 foot square platform, I guess. It's not any different from any of the rest, but there's a 20 by 20 foot square of ice that you can stand on without any of the movement happening around you or the symbols recognizing you. But at the back of that 20-foot square is a solid sheet of ice.
Okay.
It's
Killian
all
will,
up to you.
Yeah. Killian will venture forward, knowing what is probably about to happen with Jack. Killian will turn around, and as soon as if the blocks start moving like they did before, he will cast
Which
a
they
spell.
do. They do, yeah.
Okay, so Jack is about to be in the storm of cubes. Is that?
Yes, they're moving. They're beginning to move around him.
Okay.
But he's been safe as long as he's been standing still, right?
Yes.
Killian will then venture forward into the center of this square and just look for something, anything that he might be able to do.
He's just looking around.
Yeah, investigating what.
Well, it's pitch black.
Right.
Do you have a torch or a light or something like that?
Yeah. Simple torch is easy enough.
Okay, so you light a torch, and you don't see a single thing that is different from any other part of the surface. It is a solid sheet of strangely smooth ice. If you look close enough, you can see the gaps in the cubes that make up this part of the hallway. That's all you see.
I guess he'll return to where Jack is standing and not go into where the blocks are doing their thing, but
Okay. Meanwhile, so at an impasse here, a minute and a half passes. What are the other two doing?
You should go.
Okay. They're taking too long, aren't they?
A little bit. Whatever would allow us to. Yeah, I don't think they're going to turn it off in a way that'll let us take the wagon.
All right. So, geez. Don't really have a way to just sort of zip through this at all.
Not really, no.
Crazy question. Can you grab one of the cubes?
Let's find out. So
I mean, you absolutely could. Like, you could grab the edge of one. It'll carry you to wherever it's going.
Wow.
Dean, how big are these cubes? Like person size?
5 feet by 5 feet by 5 feet.
By 5 feet.
Every
That is
single
big
one's the
enough.
same size.
Small enough for. I'm gonna try shoving one in a bag of devouring.
Okay, so I don't know the I don't know the weight of this offhand, but no. A 5 foot, so 125 cubic feet of ice is too heavy for you.
Too heavy for it, and it's inanimate, so it's not going to be swallowed up. Okay, so we could ride. I'm going to try. Why don't I carry you, and I grab onto these things as they move and try and wrestle my way forward. Probably metaphorically more athletics than a grapple, but still.
Well, do any of the cubes look like they're going sort of down the hallway long ways when they do their shuffling?
They don't move that far. None of them leaves their general 30-foot length that you can see. They aren't rolling amongst each other. They are rearranging themselves in this part of the hallway.
Gotcha. Jeez.
Yeah, so I could try. I could try like grabbing them as they pass and trying to surf my way in the right general direction.
I mean, there's a path underneath your feet at all times that you can walk along. But there is no there's no cube that you can just stand on and then ride it to the end. That is that's not gonna happen.
Okay. Then time to steel ourselves and try and zip through as quickly as possible. Like
Quickly as possible.
when they are not moving, I guess. I don't really have anything to like hurry through this.
No. Well, maybe. I don't actually know.
All right. Listen to it.
All right. So do you want to go when the first symbol is visible, when the second symbol is visible, or when there is the most movement?
When there's the most movement.
Okay. So as soon as the second symbol disappears into the wall, replaced by other cubes, you start moving. While you're moving, you are dodging and dipping around cubes that are threatening to smash you. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Alright. That is a 20. Dirty 20.
Well, you made it. Mine's an 8.
Okay. All right. So you take 23 bludgeoning damage as you have to wrench your arm free between two cubes that are waiting and crushing against you, trying to get to where they want to go. But the two of you do end up 30 feet into this thing. No turning back now because the cubes are moving such that you cannot go back and have to go forward. Do you want to keep moving or stop as the first symbol appears?
Oh, they're forming a wall behind us.
No, they're just moving around. Remember, you couldn't see all the way
Right.
through, and this is why.
Okay.
You want to keep moving or stop?
Tam is going to halt here.
Okay. You're not moving. Okay. The symbol, the snowflake-like symbol, stays for about 6 seconds or so, and then disappears back into it. The second symbol appears. Do you want to go or do you want to stay?
I will go.
All right, Tam is following.
All right. The effect from before that the other two were subjected to begins to stretch your perception as well. Make a wisdom saving throw.
That was a nat 20, and Tam has plus 10 in wisdom, so that was 30.
So you're
You want to
going
die.
when it's a save that you're proficient with.
Yes.
Interesting that you would choose to do that.
So
That's-
I
that's
did not
smart
remember
thinking.
that well. That was my bad. Whoopsie.
Okay. What'd you roll?
2.
Oh,
2.
jeez.
Okay. 33 psychic damage cracks against your brain as you think like that you fall forever off of one of the edges. But in fact, Tamlai looks back and just sees him kind of doing this in the air as he moves forward, like he's falling, but he's just walking. But Tamlai, gets it because it just happened to her too. All right, so the cubes are beginning to move more often. Do you want to go or do you want to stay?
Killian has been watching this, and he's seen Jack stranded out there. He hasn't
Oh
seen
yeah,
Victor
do we
yet.
see Jack now?
Not yet.
Picking up the pattern, Killian will do something he's done for Jack a lot over these past years. He's going to cast haste on Jack so that Jack has more speed and has advantage on dexterity saving throws.
Cool.
So
Good
they
idea.
connect for a moment and try to find the best way through these.
Jack's body
Tam's-
jitters.
Fennec with coffee in their system.
All right, so
The brain has its
more
go
movement.
fast juice.
So back to more movement. Are you going or staying?
Tam is going to halt. Arcade can do what he wants, but Tam's going to halt and actually cast light, as she can see that the spotlights are probably only getting like flashes of the spotlights.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to cast light on like one of her like earrings.
Good.
Yeah, I'm
Alright.
going to go. That is
Cool. Give me a dex save.
cool. That is a 19.
All right. So you're getting the hang of this. You could do this all day. At one point, you have to kind of like generally slide over one of the cubes as it slides across. But you do end up all the way through, and now you are standing next to Jack. Tamlai is gone in the rear view because she stopped.
Killian holds his hand up to Arcady, just like,
Yep.
wait.
The first symbol is appearing again for everyone who's on the platform. Do you want to go or stay?
I'm going to go.
Tam is still halting,
I'm assaulting
She's-
Jack.
taking her time.
So you could wait for the blocks to move, basically, and you'll have advantage on your save, is what I'm trying to give you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jack's gonna wait for like the most opportune moment, and then he's just gonna absolutely book it.
Okay. So symbol one. Is anyone going? Yeah, Arcadie's going, right? Okay. Arcadie. Roll me Constitution save. As icicles spread down from your nostrils.
That is a 15.
Okay.
19. Sorry.
19. 19 is different from 15 because the DC for all these.
Yeah,
is
19
16.
is different from 15. Did not
okay,
write that. Did not write that right.
So, yeah, you're able to shoulder through. You take 19 cold damage as you shake it off, but there's no completely shaking this off. You're breathing icicles. You take half damage on a main save. At least it's not 39.
At least it's not 39.
Yeah, wow. I rolled that's amazing. Okay. All right. So the first symbol, the second symbol is appearing again. The one that is spanking your minds. Do you want to go or stay? Oh, by the way, Arcadie is through, I believe. No. Arcadie stayed. Went. Okay. Yeah. Arcadie is on the edge. With Killian.
Right. Tam is moving forward, hopefully to catch up with Jack.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
That is 18.
Yeah, that's good. On a pass save, you're able to shake it off. You don't take any damage. And then you, much like your colleague before you, are standing next to Jack, who is frozen in place and looking pretty rough.
Oh gosh.
It looks like
Jack
did not learn the lesson that you learned, and is hurt in every way he could be hurt.
Oh gosh, Jack.
Yeah, I've made better decisions.
The sphere, or this, why do I keep saying spheres? The cubes are moving more erratically now. Do you want to go or stay?
Tam is going to take the moment because Jack is injured directly next to her, and she is not leaving his side. She's going to cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level on him as opposed to moving forward.
Okay.
That is...
Yeah, I'm going to say that Jack can go if he wants to go, as well as be healed. Does he want to go? Well, I guess it depends a little bit on how much healing
it depends on how much healing he takes, because he's at 18.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, he's like low. He's at 18 out of 139, so he's not exactly looking the greatest.
That was
dropping to 0 inside this thing would not be a good idea.
No, probably not the best. But that was 15 healing. Had better rolls in my life.
Okay, 33.
Potent,
That stills me with confidence. Let's do this.
No, potent spell casting does not apply to healing. God damn it! Why doesn't it?
Because that's what life domain does. All right, so
full reference with haste. So Jack gets an additional action which he can use to do a couple of different things. So he's going to use his normal action to dash and use the haste action to dash again. And I did the math on that, and he moves 360 feet in a round.
An advantage on saving throws.
So the average
he's
speed of a
moving. So he. All right. I'm gonna.
He go fast.
Here is a decision for you to make. Do you want to abandon foot carefulness for speed? Because you're running on ice. And the...
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Roll me an acrobatics check.
It's a 15.
Okay. So, Jack, facing a pretty rough situation, freaks out and starts moving forward. And with haste, zips forward, but misjudges the turn because of the change in perception from the speed, and does not turn 90 degrees in time. And just it's the most eerie thing because he's running and then he's just gone. He just topples into, and the hole where he was closes up. And he is now, so what Jack sees is there's a moment where his boots are not scraping against the ground in a way that's going to stop him. And then he falls 5 feet and he senses himself sink into the floor. And he is now in a 5 cubic foot pitch black space.
Jack?
What do you do?
So this is less than ideal.
You do not hear that. Your voice sounds close around you, and you are alone. What are the other 3 of you doing? Oh, by the way, the first symbol is returning. Tamalai, what do you do?
Tam is still pausing, but she sees Jack disappear and shouts out. And does it? So it looks, from her perspective, it looks like a cube closes like over him.
Right.
Oh gosh. She just like, she's still holding her position, but she shouts out after him. But that's all for now.
Okay.
Not sure what to
Second
do
symbol.
yet.
Are you going?
Yeah, she goes in a second.
Okay.
Is 16.
All right, 16 is good. It is a strange experience for a couple of reasons, but she ends up on the other side with the other 2. Okay, so the 3 of you are on the other side now. And, oh, by the way, Tamalai, did you take damage on your way through this?
Tam took a little bit of damage from a dex save.
Okay, make me a Constitution check.
Con check, okay. That is a 17, 14 on the dice. Do not
Okay,
have
you
X.
lose concentration on Detect Magic.
Ah, shit.
All right, so the 3 of you are standing on the other side, in torchlight, faced with a wall.
All right. Well,
What do you do?
we need.
Yeah,
What do you do?
Jack.
We need to get Jack out.
Yeah.
He's-
So the
The
effects
Thor ate
to.
him.
Yeah, the point where you saw to undo this thing. Can you find it and dispel it? Maybe.
I lost my. I lost the spell. Gosh, I have nothing left for Salra. Hold on, and she's gonna cast
Jack.
Detect Magic again.
Yes. I'll be back with you in 1 second. Jack, you take 4 bludgeoning damage. The cube above you is trying to take your place. It closes down around you, and the space squeezes forward until the floor and ceiling are pressing you as the cube tries to get where you are, but only one thing can occupy a space at a time. And eventually it gives up and waits for the next cycle.
Yeah, occupied, you bastard.
Occupado.
All right, so Tamalai, Detect Magic goes up, and I'm going to assume you look for the threads from before, right?
She is like looking around frantically. Yes.
Okay. In the upper right cube, at the end of the hallway, all of the threads, 100 of them or more, converge to a spot behind the wall.
She points at that spot and she goes, "There, destroy it, quick!"
Lane will grab his bow, get an idea of what Tam is pointing at, and loose an arrow.
Do you have something more potent than arrows?
What's that?
Do we have potent things to destroy it with?
Shooting where the thing is.
Shooting the arrows.
What is? Okay. What is Arcady doing?
Arcady has like how far away is this particular corner? Is it like
10 feet away.
really tucked in there? 10 feet away? I got a ladder. There's a ladder that I got.
It's not that high up. It's 5 feet off the ground, 10 feet away.
Okay,
What is the arrow attack roll?
It is 28.
That's a hit. Deal damage.
And that is 6 plus 8. 14 piercing damage.
Okay. The arrow sticks in the wall, and a crack.
Okay. I'm just going to
Spreads
carve out
from
that
either end.
entire. I'm gonna try and carve out that entire slice, like that entire area of wall with my greatsword. Just hack.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Attack it. This is like the most necessary moment for a fighter.
So.
Do you have another arrow attack?
Yeah, I'll
Do it
Yeah,
again.
multi-attack.
same thing before, 28.
Okay.
And
By the way, you're rolling for AC 11, and then just do the
11.
calculate your damage for a round, please.
Okay. Yeah. Then I hit all 3 of my attacks. 2, 4. Totals or individually?
Just give me the total damage. Yeah. I'm gonna assume that a great sword attack by a 15th level fighter beats the damage threshold. What did you roll? What's the damage?
18 and 21 is 39.
39. Okay. You have broken through the false. It's not a false wall. It's a wall, and it's 2 feet thick. But there's a gap behind it. This isn't a complete cube, and behind it is a square stone, maybe 4 inches on a side, that is pulsing with different patterns. It has runes blinking on it. What do you do?
That goes in the bag.
What?
You want to put it in the bag of devouring? Okay. Does anyone else have an idea?
Tam,
Those
upon
were
seeing this
sashes.
exposed, upon seeing this exposed, she is going to run forward, and she is going to cast Word of Radiance. And she's only going to choose not her friends, who are also within 5 feet of her.
What does
Just
Word of Radiance
this-
do?
It does, well, I guess it's technically creatures. It's supposed to be a con save, but it's doing radiant damage in an AoE burst.
Roll an insight check.
Okay. 20.
Pick up the magic item.
Oh. Fair.
Well,
Please don't break it.
okay.
Oh no, I don't know what I would do.
Okay. We'll pick up the magic item.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm thinking about Star Wars and smashing the control panel when you don't know what to do.
Exactly where I went.
But if this thing stopped, that would not be what you want.
Oh, okay.
So you pick it up. Who picks it up?
Tam, she rolled
Tamalai
the.
picks it up.
Tam has it.
Yeah.
Tamalai picks up the stone.
Stupid dumb
When
cat.
she holds the stone, she feels control of this hallway move to her. It attunes to her in a moment. And it's the strangest feeling in the world because suddenly she has 150 extra limbs. And each one is a cube that can move through the air. And she can rearrange it with a force of intelligence and move it.
Imagine that's an
Her
interesting
eyes
feeling.
are flashing with the same runes as the tablet.
Oh gosh, guys, it's full of cubes. Uh, she wills the floor to lift up off of Jack immediately and expose
Okay.
him.
The cube that is forming the ceiling above Jack is moving, and he has some more space. Just as the air is starting to get thinner and his head is starting to swim, he sees torchlight, and the floor below him rises up, and the whole hallway just evens out and becomes as normal.
I did it.
Killian will rush over and lend him a hand out of the hole.
Well, there is no hole now, you're able to just run right over to him because
Okay.
it's just a flat hallway from wagon to other end where you are now.
All right.
Does the control extend to the wall behind them?
It does. You can sense the edge of where you can control, and it is blocking a passage behind a 2x2x2 grid of cubes.
Okay.
So in other words, 10 feet past this solid ice wall, there is a passage.
Good. We did it. Yay.
All right.
Go
So,
team.
yep. Fill up, get the wagon, see if we can take the cubes with us.
Oh gosh.
What do you do?
Wagon.
Oh, Jack.
Killian will help Jack. Make sure he doesn't fall and
Yeah.
assist him back to the wagon.
Yes, indeed.
So you bring the wagon forward.
I'm all right. The bleeding's internal. That's where the blood's supposed to
All
be.
right, I can't see.
Okay, real
Yeah.
quick. You bring the wagon forward, and you move the wall out of the way. The cubes do not go past the edge of the zone, where the control is allowed. So I'm going to assume you keep the stone, but you keep moving forward.
Definitely keep the stone.
There is a stairway leading forward that goes downward along the wall and down into a large open area. In the center of this open area, which, by the way, it has natural ground along the bottom of itself. In the center of this huge open room is a wooden building. There is an arched roof, like a thatched roof, reinforced with ancient pitch, and a door that is 10 feet high and 20 feet wide at its end. This building looks big enough to have an entire town inside it. And it is very, very old. What do you do?
Drive straight in. Where is the stone that would bring the whole thing down?
The column.
Column, yeah.
It's in the center of the inside. There is a load-bearing column in the center that, if you hurt it, if you deal it enough damage with this siege weapon, will destroy the entire lodge house.
Drive straight in. Need a weapon pointed at that thing.
Okay. You head forward along the dead ground and open the door at the end of the tunnel, or at the end of the lodge house.
Just before they open the door, I'm just going to take a deep
Quickly.
breath. She's going to cast Heal on Jack.
Okay.
Just a flood of healing energy that is 70 hit points. And then she's going to
Okay.
cast Sanctuary on the whole party.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Seriously.
I can feel my bones being back in the normal spots now. This is great.
The double doors open, and they creak with ancient effort. And you head into a lodge house, an Auric lodge house. Everything is immaculately preserved in a layer of totally transparent ice. There are people in the ice over 1,000 years old, trapped in it. They look panicked in the last moment of their lives as ice trapped them instantly. You head forward through this museum of death, and at the back of the lodge house, sitting on a throne of ice, is the dragon. The wagon heads forward until it's 60 feet or so, unless you want to be a different distance from the throne. Stops. Dragon Salroa sits on the throne and regards you.
Okay. So, as a class ability, I can cast Dancing Lights. I can do so to get to do some spotlights and loud noises. So, I'm going to stand prominently in the wagon. I'm going to rip off my shirt. I'm going to spotlight. I'm going to cue a spotlight and cue a fanfare and say, "Attention, Sarua! I am Arkady Medvedevich, the Orion Onslaught, and I am here to challenge you." I am going to point one of our siege weapons at the central column and say, "Take a look around. We're here in the seat of your great slaughter, the grand story of your time on this plane. Relic of one of the great works of art my people have ever made. How you took it from them, killed them to a beast. My, how the mighty have fallen. The death spike of the north, turning to enslaving jackals. You must value the story of this place, because you'll never again equal it. I want you to reform your ways. Come on here. I'll get out. But if you don't want to, I challenge you. Lift the curse on Cole and his family, and I'll leave you with this piece of glory. You can try the best that you can to add us to your titles, or I will drop this hall and no one will ever remember anything that you have ever done. What's it gonna be?"
Roll an intimidate check.
What?
While you roll an intimidate check. While you're rolling that
He'll
intimidate
do
check,
it. He's crazy.
the other three of you, I would like you to roll me history checks.
History check.
Okay. I'm going to expend a lucky on this.
6.
Sounds like a thing.
Ooh.
18.
18.
I plus 0 too.
Me too.
Middle of the road. That is going to be an 18.
Right. You're at the level where 18 is the middle of the road. So, Tamalai notices something as this Arkady is giving his speech. The clothes on the people in the ice, they are too modern for the age that this thing is supposed to be. This is not the lodge house. This is a replica. What did you roll in your intimidate check?
That was an 18. Yeah, just an 18.
Okay. What is Tamalai doing when she realizes this?
Since Arcady is doing his best to make a speech, she is going to whisper this to Cillian and Jack.
All right. So the Dragon Salra listens to Arcady speak, sniffs. Are you impressed with yourself?
Absolutely.
Your
He
confidence
applauds.
is laudable. What are you doing here?
Told you that part. There's a
Her
jackal.
eyes- Her eyes are scanning around. She looks less self-assured than she did. You can see her making plans.
Yeah. Jackal, about 20 years ago, you played courier service. You said you owned his son or something. That really needs to end.
There is a sound
It's
above you.
beneath you.
Far, far away above you. You hear dum, 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 dum. There is a rumble above you. Yes. He owes me something.
Yeah.
That's how things work here, right? There is a debt, and the debt is paid when the time comes. I dealt
debt-
honorably with that jackal.
The debt was not balanced or fair. There was no decision in it for him. He couldn't have said no.
She smiles. Her teeth are razor sharp, and she rises from the throne of ice. I always find that people find debts to be unfair, unbalanced when it comes time to collect. Don't you think that's interesting?
He bore
I mean-
that shame for years. But
Yeah, and
he
also you're,
never
like,
had a
super old, so-
choice. Yeah, he never had a choice when he made that deal. Therefore, it wasn't a deal at all. You
Let me ask you
forced
something.
him.
In my some years in this playground of delights, do you know how many of my hatchlings your people have killed in their lairs? The answer is 47. I don't care if you think that my deal was unfair or he had no choice. From experience, I will tell you that a child dying is something you can survive. It's a choice you make. It's a choice that he made. He weighed the options. The almighty wisest jackals of the Seelie weighed his options, and if he was swayed by emotion, that is not how a contract works. You can't decide that the thing that he was getting in return was too important to him for the contract to be honored. He owes me a year, and he and his will give me that year. But I see that he's brought me a starter. So I ask again, what are you doing here? I find
No, I
this
hate to
idle
say it, she's got a
conversation
point.
interesting.
I suppose we're renegotiating.
Yeah, I really don't like to say it, but
Renegotiating.
there are
Her tail whips
significantly
around
valid
behind
points being raised here.
Her
Really
tail whips
not.
around behind her. I will renegotiate the terms. But the new terms will be favorable toward me if I am to change my mind on a whim for some whatever you are. What do you offer me in exchange?
We offer you the continued preservation of this place of conquest that I know you love. And I don't mean this lodge house, because this lodge house is a fake.
Dun dun dun.
I knew that
She
the
looks over
entire
at
time.
she looks over at the figures trapped in the ice. It's the one skill I could never capture for myself was tailoring. I'm just terrible with a needle, you see, and I can't seem to find someone who can make me adequate replicas of the clothing of the people in my lodge house. Well spotted. So you're threatening to what? Break the real lodge house, wherever it is?
Destroy your hoard. Nothing left. I'm sure it took a long time to build up.
Oh yes, it's quite magnificent. I sleep
Is
on
that
top of
worth?
it every night.
Is that worth 1 year of Jackal?
I don't see you posing any threat to my horde.
5e doesn't have a bluff skill, but Tam's gonna say, we know where it is.
Deception. Lying Pirwin.
Also,
Someone
totally just random question. How
So-
valuable would you reckon a tailor's, like, if you got like a professional tailor to come in here and help, keep this thing a little bit updated, roughly how valuable would you say that one would be?
Less valuable than Cole's wife. What'd you roll for your bluff check?
Yes. I'm gonna use my inspiration, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yes, please.
I am glad I did, because that is a 19.
Whew.
It was not a
Intimidated
19
and now lied
before.
to.
It's a goddess of love, not lying.
All right. Sauru regards the four of you. Say I were to agree to those terms. What proof do I have that you would keep to your side of the bargain?
Killian.
Well, I
will-
mean, I got a
What?
really shiny,
No, hold on
blowy
a
uppy
second.
orb thing.
One sec. Killian, go ahead.
Killian will look across there and say, well, we haven't done it yet. If we really wanted to, we would have done it already. Whether you do it before or after.
Interesting. So you're dungeon delvers who aren't after a horde. And I am expected to believe this. Say I do believe it. I think you're more intimidated than you let on, she says proudly.
A cleric of Paroa would not go back on her word. I almost said lie.
All right, name your terms. I'm intrigued. I'm amused, even. By the way, roll me insight checks.
22.
Nat 20, baby, let's go!
That's
Okay, so, oh, she rolled really shitty. Okay, and that's appropriate. Her eyes are still darting back and forth. you have her on the back foot for everything that she's saying, and she's very, very practiced at being proud and confident. This is not going well for her, and she knows it. Or at least she thinks it's not because of Tam's brilliant lie. Name your terms, then.
Tam sort of looks at the others. We won't tell anybody where it is. That secret will die with us.
Yeah. If you want an epic tale of how utterly frightening this is, we can do that too. Or
And in return.
not. Up to you.
And in return.
You back off from the jackal and his family. That's pretty much it, really.
That's all you have to do.
I mean,
Forever?
what, you're like practically, several thousand years old, and I imagine you're going to live for several thousand more. What's 1 year of service lost in reality?
I need you to understand while negotiating these terms that after all of you are dirt under my claws, there will be centuries after where I will deal with Cole and his. So back off from him is insufficient in specificity.
All right.
I will give you 100 years. I will make a good faith effort not to accost Cole. Do we have a deal?
The curse ends. You start 100 years of it from now. You can follow this vendetta to wherever you like. But
You're so tedious. She snaps her fingers. No curse. I'll find him again when the terms are up. Do you have anything else for me?
I mean, if it helps convey the fact that we don't want to wreck your shit, I have this glass thing full of light things that I'm more than happy to hand over as a token of goodwill because I'm pretty sure it explodes. And if you have it, then what? If she has it, then we can't use it. That's how that works.
Let's back off slowly. We're done here.
Do me a favor. Get out of my lair. At that moment, a 4x4 of cubes rises. The ice underneath the soil of this very, it's all right. And I mean, you saw through it. This all right replica of her great victory rises up out of the ground, and the dirt falls away. You and your wagon and everything on it crash through the top and float freely up through the top. The sound from before was the entire top of her lair folding back against the walls, and there is sunlight when you burst through the top of the lodge house. You rise and rise and rise until the platform that you're standing on is joined by the roof, which closes in all around it. And you are now standing on the roof of her lair. There are the watch cubes, the ring of watch cubes from around the bottom are beginning to rise toward the top.
All right, I'm going to leap on top of the wagon, strike a victory pose, and strike up a nice fanfare to get us the end.
Yeah.
Let's get out.
Let's leave.
I declare
and
victory.
regroup.
I declare victory. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Also, I know this probably doesn't mean much, but the whole way back there, definitely solid. I'd recommend keeping that one up.
All right. So you fly off the roof and leave. You can see the ring start a sweep of the entire lair. And then the entire thing the whole ass cylinder disappears into the ground. And cubes of ice close in around it as it sinks into the ground and leaves behind a snowy plain. That is
We
the
did it. Good job, everyone. High five.
Camelot!
What?
That was a bald-faced lie. I didn't know you had it in you.
Well, it's
Good job!
the cleric of mercy, not perfect truth.
Alien yells from the wind back there. You still have the stone.
Yeah, I still have the stone, but like,
Good.
I didn't know what else to do. I have almost no magic left. You went through the roof.
And yet, you bluffed a millennia-old monstrosity.
So
You know how we could
You-
celebrate?
Gonna be
Ow.
Just pulls
Do
out
it.
the orb again.
What do you want to do with it?
I've had this thing in my pocket since we left. I really want to see what it does.
Pick a snowbank. Watch
Oh my
it.
god.
Cue the fireworks.
All right, yeah, let's see it.
Yeet.
Yeet.
okay, so you throw the cube off the side of the wagon, and it falls far enough that you can't see it anymore. But then you do see its effects. There is an explosion of green fire that carves a scar in the mountain that it lands on. You have just left behind something that probably would have hurt the dragon a lot.
Oh,
The
that
end.
poor
Was
mountain.
now
I
part
had
of our
that in my
epic-
pocket.
That
Right.
poor mountain.
Right, we are claiming that as part of our epic battle, and I don't want anyone to say anything different.
Jeez, if one of those cubes had have hit me any harder, that would have gone off in my pocket.
I'm going to choose not to think about that. That's someone else's responsibility.
Oh my
That
god.
was
All
the
right,
fucking
so-
coolest thing I've ever done.
So we are 12 minutes over, so I am going to stop it there. Thank you to the four of you for playing not one but two sessions. I hope everybody had a good time. So for Heartleaf Games, I am Colin McGuire. And thank you to our audience for checking out the session this evening. I hope you'll check out some other Nerdsmith shows. And if anyone else has anything to say,
Good night, friends.
Good.
I'm sorry.
good night, everybody.
Later, folks.
Have a good one.